Hey guys, Femi LandVerse, and I'm here in France, and I want to talk to you guys about a few things that are working really well right now in my land investing business. Probably not going to share everything, but I'm going to share a few things that I know are going to help you guys to build and scale your businesses as far as they possibly can. And the first thing that comes to mind is just relationships with brokers. And the number one word that's going to be throughout this whole video is going to be incentivization. Incentivization. You have to start thinking about how to incentivize every single person that you do business with throughout your business from every process. So, from the marketing process and talking to sellers to brokers to title companies to surveyors, everyone. And one thing that has been working really well with brokers specifically are time-based bonuses. So if a broker can bring us an offer within a certain amount of time, we give them a bonus, right? And this could be an extra percentage, it could be some extra cash on the side. We've also started doing stake boxes on top of money as well, and that's worked really well for us as well. So we'll say, hey, by the end of this week, by this date, we need X amount of offer. We need this kind of offer. And if you can bring it by this time, then we will do this for you and put the word out to any other broker that brings a buyer that will do the same thing for them as well. And so, really incentivizing people to want to work with you and want to work for you and want to push your projects as hard as they can. Because what that does, if I say, like, hey, I'll offer you an extra percentage point, then what they'll end up doing is push it to every list they have, every contact they have, literally everything. They push it everywhere. And that ends up with us being able to get offers in really quickly, with buyers coming in, offering cash. We've had a good amount of properties this year where they even offered above what the asking price was. And that's in the market where people are scared to buy houses and scared to, they're scared to invest, right? And we're still getting offers over asking. But why? I was thinking about, like, why is that? Well, it's because we're incentivizing everyone, literally everyone. If you can bring this person by this date, then you get this, right? And we do it. Like, it's not something that we're just saying we're going to do and then we don't do it. No, we actually give the extra, like, within the legal limit of the area, we're giving that extra money. We're sending those stake boxes. We're taking care of people, and taking care of people so much to the point where, I had a broker earlier this week actually tell us that he was going to send us a holiday card, and it was asking for our address to send a holiday card, which is funny. Um, so yeah, you just want to you just really want to take care of your people, because as you take care of your people, they take care of you. Now, the other thing that's been really working well for us is lead management. I've had leads in my CRM, I mean, this same CRM for years and years now. And what's starting to happen lately is a lot of the leads that have been in my CRM, I mean, we've been making consistent touch points. I have some leads in my CRM, we've made over 200 touch points on just one lead. And so lead management is really important, and making sure that when you go through your CRM, you have a subtask for each and every property that's not a trash property. So if it's not trash, like if it's not like landlocked, floodplain, or landlocked and you can't get an easement, or it's something that you tried to work and it's just like, no matter what, the deal itself, like the actual deal, is, there's no profit there. Now, if you can make profit on a deal, you should keep that in your pipeline. You should continue to follow up on it. You have to see every single deal in your pipeline as an opportunity, right? You can't see it as something that's like, okay, well, they don't want to sell today, so this is just not going to work for me. Let me just cut it. Let me just move on. You need to be able to set follow-up sequences with every single one of your leads. That's so important, and you make so much more money by doing that, because you never know when someone's circumstances are going to change. You just don't know. And we've had this happen so many times where we're sending emails, we're sending text messages, we're cold calling, we've got RVMs going, we literally have everything going. And a year and a half later, they call and say, hey, this thing has happened to me, and now I'm in this situation, and I don't know what to do, and I need some cash. And then they sell to us. And so that's why it's just so important to keep your funnel and keep your marketing going on the leads that you already have. Now, this is a game of getting leads in consistently, like incoming leads, but it's also a game of managing those leads too. Like, how do you manage those leads? And I think many of you have this idea in your mind that if like a lead has a cycle, when it really doesn't. What I've learned is that most of these leads don't actually have a cycle, and if you keep following up with these people on a long enough timeline, then you'll eventually get those deals done as well. Whereas most people won't. And most people say, "Oh, well, yeah, I was working with this company and they kind of dropped off." And I've noticed this. Like, we talk to a lot of landowners on a weekly basis, hundreds. And what I've learned is that a lot of land investors drop off after a while, and that tells me that they have poor lead management, like very poor lead management, which is why if you're running this business correctly in 2025 and beyond, the cash flow that you will build for yourself is insurmountable to anything else that you could do, because of the fact that so many people that are land investors are not good ones, because they don't know how to manage their leads, they don't set up any systems to follow up with people, and they don't profile and score their leads to the point where they know which leads to work and which leads to double down on now and which leads to still work but are going to take maybe a year. And also, they can't even see that year timeline. I can see it. I'm not in a rush, right? Are we going to get deals done every single month? Absolutely. But I'm not in a rush for this deal that I know, hey, we might have to call this person 200 times, but then when we call them 200 times, we might make 100 grand on that deal. And so you have to have a timeline to see that, though. Because if you don't, if I feel like when you start, it's like, if I don't close this now, I'll never close this. But that's not true. You have to be able to set that in your mind, like, okay, well, I have the deals that I'm closing now. I have people that are ready now, and there are different kinds of leads. There are different kinds of leads. There will be leads that are ready now. There will be leads that are ready in 2 weeks, and maybe those leads that are ready in 2 weeks, you have to push them along further with your acquisition skills. There will be people that are ready in a year. There's all kinds of different profiles, and you have to master how to identify these profiles and know whether you're throwing something away because of your lack of skill, or knowing whether you're throwing something away because of its lack of ability to produce profitability for you. And that's really important to decipher. So that's one thing that we've really gotten good at. The other thing is just with our sales team. As I'm building my sales team, it's just incentivizing, like all along the way, it's incentivizing. Hey, if you can have this many conversations that lead to this many contracts by the end of the week, I will give you this kind of bonus, right? And many a times when those bonuses are given, the targets are hit, if not surpassed, right? With title companies, it's when we close, we're making sure to incentivize them with food, with chocolate, with cookies. Like, we do all these things because I want repeat business, right? You have to be able to build repeat business with these areas, especially as you start to really get deep into a market. Because the deeper you get into a market, and that's, I've found several of markets that I like to be in, and I like to be deep in, and I like to stay in. And I've learned that when we just keep our relationships with title companies, with surveyors, with people running perk tests, anything like that, when we keep those relationships, what happens is everything just happens so much faster, and it happens like clockwork. And so, incentivization. What else? The other thing that's really working for us right now is just keeping the lead. The other thing that's really working for us right now is just keeping the leads flowing and keeping the marketing flowing, being extremely consistent. And when you're consistent with your marketing and you've built systems around that marketing, and not only built systems around it, but you've mastered the marketing. So when I was talking about lead management earlier, like, have you mastered how to manage the leads in your marketing channel? And one of the biggest things I see people do is they market for like a few weeks or a couple months without mastering the channel, without understanding how to manage their leads, without understanding how to set follow-ups and when to set follow-ups, without having the acquisition skills actually required to get deals under contract consistently, close deals, list properties for sale, and go through the whole process. They don't send marketing enough, and then they think that their marketing channel doesn't work, and so then they switch to another marketing channel. I've seen this time and time again, and it's just like, it's really frustrating because people are like, oh, well, I always know if someone doesn't know what they're talking about, when they're like, oh, what's working really well for you right now? It's like they all work really well if you master how to do them. Like, oh, what works better, right? Or how much are you doing? All these questions completely irrelevant. Honestly, completely irrelevant. You need to pick one marketing channel, pick one that works for you, works for your timeline, works for your budget, and stick to it and master it. Master how to manage leads, close deals consistently on it, and then get to the point where you have now delegated that marketing channel in many ways. So if it's cold calling, then you need to get to the point where you're making a certain amount of calls every day that's going to lead you to your goal. And then now you've delegated that off to someone else, or 2 people, or 3 people, or 4 people. Then you can move on to the next channel. But where I see people mess up is where they try to do the cold calling for like a week or 2 weeks, and then they're like, I've heard this before, where people were like, oh, I didn't get any deals, I didn't get any leads, and I'm like, well, how many calls did you make this week? 50. I'm like, well, you need to make 600. That's why you haven't gotten any deals. You're not doing the output. And so then it's like, or you send out 500 mailers, and I'm like, okay, well, if you sent out 500 mailers one time, and you are saying, well, this person did it, well, that person has been doing this for a very, 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 very long time, right? And you don't know how many mailers of 500 they sent out to where they got that result. You don't know that. And have I sent micro mailers and done well before? Absolutely, but that comes with a lot of time. And you can send out a micro mailer as an example, and it completely bombs. This is happening multiple times, and that's just the transparency of this. And I think when you see it work for someone, then you're like, oh my god, so that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. That's a new thing, and that's like it's shiny object syndrome within the niche. Whereas you just need to focus on your thing. Focus on your thing. Focus on what you are doing, and figure out how to master that and analyze why it's not going the way it needs to be going, and what are you gonna do from your starting point to your end point, and what are the things within that process? What are the exact steps that you need to take to get there? And with everything that we're doing, that's just been working really well for me. Like with our marketing, with our lead management, with some other projects that we have going on in the business as well right now. The other thing too is just I've noticed that there are very few people right now that are doing deals within the, I would say, the $300,000 to $800,000 range, $800,000 plus range. And so that's really where we've been like stuck focused the last couple months, just on all of our marketing, all of our campaigns, and really figuring out the ideal seller that we want to speak to, where we're going to be making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 or more on a deal. So that's really what I've crafted. So I've crafted that in our marketing as well. So every kind of marketing, whether it be a text, an email, a cold call, a mailer, every piece of marketing that we send out, I'm making sure that they're targeted in markets and where we have the ability and the upside to get deals like that consistently. And so I've really spent a lot of time crafting how that person wants to be spoken to, what problems that person could have, and crafting different messaging around that to get those deals. And that's something that I've had a lot of fun doing. And we have a lot of deals in the pipeline, and some that we're closing on that are within that range. And so that's been fun. And I think that going into 2026, it will be just a lot of that. Like my goal is to do deals where, I'm netting $500,000 or more consistently, and I have a lot of deals in the pipe where those are going to happen. And so, yeah, that's been really fun. What else? The other thing too, the last thing that I would say has just been really fun for me is like playing this thing like it's a game, right? Like I take my businesses very seriously, but like at this point, it really is like playing a game and just upping the levels on everything. So with the land business, with doing deals, with making content, with helping clients, with all those things that I do, with making my investments, with growing my portfolio, with fitness, it's all just a game to me. Like how can I just level up? And I feel like sometimes you take this stuff way too seriously, you know. And if you're taking it too seriously, then what could happen is you could burn out. And I really just have a lot of fun with this stuff, man. And like I have so many projects right now that are gonna be launched and released soon, and it's just been fun though. Like I'm just upping my stats and leveling up and just playing. Like look at this, man. I think I already did this, but this is where I am right now. So, you know, I got the laptop out, pause my work to film a video. But yeah, it's just play. It's play. And I don't think that like I feel like a lot of people, honestly, the people that I see take things the most seriously are some of the people that are like the most stressed out and are not really living the exact kind of life that they want to be living. And so I just take the approach of just chill, man. And like honestly, like a lot of times, like the times where I just kind of chilled out the most and just was at peace in my head and just focused on the process and focused on the work and just had fun with it. Those are a lot of the times where I've made the most money. And over the last year or so, year and a half, I've made more money than I did the previous 3 years. So, and that's just like the mindset change. So that's why I talk about mindset. And I feel like some people are like, oh, well, share the tactical stuff. Well, there's some tactical stuff for you. But you have to understand that with the tactical stuff, you have to have the mindset stuff first. It's like in the Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi is telling Daniel LaRusso to paint the stuff. And Daniel LaRusso's like, I don't want to paint. I want to learn how to fight. And then he realizes that those principles were the principles helping him to fight. And so that's what a lot of you guys have to realize when I talk about mindset stuff and when I talk about motivation, when I show you my lifestyle, when I show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, those are principles. I'm showing you like what and how, right? And you can take that what and how, you can take those mindset principles, you can take that, and then you can extrapolate it to what you're doing, and you can use it to get to where you want to go. So, anyways, it's been Olufemi of LandVerse. I'll see you guys in the next video.